So as you can see, the title I have given is Pioneering Library Practices. Pioneering Library Practices. And there is a subtitle also that is a global perspectives on innovation and best practices. That is innovative practices and best practices. This is just a survey of the various practices followed at the global level and also at the local level. And as all of you know, libraries have always been or have long been endless sources of information. Not only when I say information and irrespective of the stakeholders, all type of stakeholders, and they are notable for providing not only easy information or information which is easily accessible, rapid information, you will get the information quickly, even though exceptions are there, and then reliable information. That is the credibility of libraries. Reliable information, and that is why there is a well-known saying that if you ask a question, the Google can give you 100 answers or 1,000 answers, but the librarian will give you only one answer, because of you are sure to get a reliable answer. And scholarly also, if you want that extent, that type of information, of course, libraries are capable of, and along with that, cultural records. And if you want to have evidence, they are ready to provide you the records or the evidence. However, over a period of time, the role of libraries have changed, mainly due to the onslaught or the attack or the interference of several other range of facilities with the same purpose, which are capable of giving ready information, rapid information, or reliable information also, and scholarly information also. But the thing still remains that there is no other single entity that can deliver the same services than the libraries. But still, in spite of the evolution of so many other arrangements which are capable of giving you instant information, libraries still remain as capable of giving the reliable information even now. And whether, irrespective of the different types of libraries, whether it is academic library or public library or special library, they are going through a clear transformation in the 21st century. Of course, they have been undergoing a transformation all through the centuries. All through the centuries. I heard somebody talking that all the years through, even in the 19th century, people were talking about we are at the crossroads, or we are undergoing change. In the 20th century, we repeated the same thing. Drastic changes are there. And in the 21st century also, we are repeating the same thing. We are undergoing transformation. So it is true, because as we all know, change is the only permanent phenomenon. In fact, libraries are not alone in the facing of this onslaught of changes. There are different things that have evolved over the time. I am just giving the example of a smartphone. I have just examined how many gadgets have become redundant due to the arrival of smartphone. I could list down some 32 items, of which I have given only 20 items or 20 or 21 items. Say, for example, address books. Then video cameras, pages. Nobody is bothered about pages. Video cameras are no more. Everybody carries a mobile wherever you go. Wristwatches, they have become redundant. You need not have a watch. And maps, navigation, maps. Google Maps are there. Or books, of course, digital books are there. Travel games, flashlights, land phones, dictation recorders, wallets. You need not carry cash also. If you have the smartphone, of course, you can have money at your fingertips. Then transistor radios, if you want to listen to music, of course, you can. Personal digital assistants, PDAs. Once upon a time, some 20 or 30 years back, people were proud of carrying a PDA with them. But now they are no more relevant. Dashboard navigation systems, if you want to find out the direction or whether it is south or east or something like that, that also is available. And then remote controls, then airline and railway ticket. Now if you examine the counters at the railway stations, I very well remember some 20 years back, I had to stand up in the queue at 7 o'clock if I want to book my ticket. And now that is not the case. Newspapers and magazines, they are readily available through them. Directory assistants, travel and insurance agents. Okay, you can log on to the websites of many of the insurance firms or travel firms. Then restaurant guidance, then pocket calculators, and the gadgets are endless. Same is the case. I'm just pointing out an example of how new arrivals have made the earlier ones redundant. But still, we have to be surprised of the fact that libraries still remain. Libraries still remain vibrant. Okay. Now, what are the changes or what are the contexts that made the changes in the libraries? I'm just, each can be explained in half an hour, but I'm not venturing into that. Change in the information landscape. Okay, so much of information is available, flooded. We are flooded with information through different sources. Arrival of new technologies and the changes in the social interaction, the way we communicate with each other. You know, face-to-face communication is very, very rare now. Okay, I very well remember some of the instances while some 10 years back, while if you are traveling in the train, you know, people will be looking at you, at your face, where are you going? What is where you belong to that place, or what are you up to? But nowadays, you know, the moment you occupy your seats, you will get engaged. Okay, changes in the social interaction. That is one example. Then changes in the service context. Of course, libraries are also facing some of the constraints. Okay, dwindling budgets, for example. Recently, day before us, 2 or 3 days back, you know, Trump issued an order that the Department of Museums and Libraries, and their funding was cut. That's the case with America. Then just think of other countries. But we are fortunate. We don't face such drastic cuts. Changes in the service. Okay, the way you render the service, that also is undergoing change, and the use pattern of information also changes. And now, in an area or in an age of information abundance, libraries stand not as mere repositories but as dynamic engines of knowledge. Why I have marked it in red color is that we used to underline this knowledge, but nowadays you have to take up the responsibility of working as dynamic engine of the community as a whole. And you have to work as a dynamic engine for the progress of the society as a whole. This presentation, which I am going to make before you, tries to portray how libraries around the world are transforming to meet the evolving needs of the users. Only a few are possible within a short span of time. And for the purpose, an attempt is made to highlight the key area of innovative practices, okay, and best practices. While talking about that, about innovative practices and best practices, you should be aware of the relationship between them, or the difference between them. Because from the feedback which I have got from different audiences, you know, people are quite hazy about the distinction between these two. What is meant by innovation and what is meant by best practices. So, for the purpose, I have given some definitions also, just to make you understand what is meant by innovative practices. Actually, they are novel approaches and creative solutions. Okay, so innovative practices are creative solutions that address emerging challenges and create new opportunities. And that is what is meant by innovative practices. And these practices introduce something new, but which is untested. You can experiment on something and you can arrive at you can attempt those things. It may succeed or may not succeed. Whereas best practices are the proven methods or techniques. Innovative practices, you know, when they are proved to be effective, then they are treated as the benchmarks. That is the difference between these two. And I'm just making a quotation. It's not a quotation, it's a lengthy one. Jennifer A. Bartlett. And why I have introduced is that I thought that there will be full of students, and therefore I wanted to advise them to follow her. Jennifer A. Bartlett. And here I have, within parentheses, I have given University of Kentucky Libraries. Okay, otherwise if you search under Jennifer Bartlett, you will end up with an artist. A world famous artist also is there. That is why you have to add Jennifer A. Bartlett, University of Kentucky Libraries. She writes profusely. if you want to have innovative ideas that can be experimented in libraries, of course, she is a role model. Good starting points for thinking about innovation practices. And what are the areas where innovative practices are possible? This is not an exhaustive list. I have taken out something from her. The direct discovery of unmet user needs. Always you have to think in that, how to meet the needs of the users. What are all the novel methods by means of which I can meet the requirements of the users? Then the introduction of new services or the retooling of traditional services. Always don't think of new services alone. You have to reorient or retool the existing services. That also is that comes under the purview of innovation. And then creative collaboration between libraries. We librarians have got, we only think of collaborating with other libraries. But you have to think of not only with the libraries or between libraries and other type of institutions. Say for example, whenever I get an opportunity to address library professionals in the academic staff college, I used to tell them, you just collaborate with your computer science department. Whenever you are in trouble, your Koha doesn't work or some other software doesn't work, you just seek their collaboration. And there are librarians who exploit, I don't say it is not correct on my part, exploit, make use of their services. Say for example, if there is a computer science department or information science department, they will just put up a challenge, try to solve it. And the students are very enthusiastic. That's my feedback. In some of the engineering colleges, the librarians used to say, sir, I have put it as presented as a challenge to the students and they come out with a solution. That is what I meant by collaboration with other types of institutions. And then implementing new technologies to improve and extend library service to meet user needs. That is using new technologies. Exploration of the future of the libraries. You have to just think. You have to explore what will be the future of libraries. How can we remain buoyant? Buoyant means relevant in the new context. And then pilot testing unconventional ideas and services. Pilot testing, piloting. You just experiment with the new methods. Redefining the roles of library staff also. All this is, I think, is the most important. You have to redefine the roles of the library staff to better serve the users. You have to make them think, how can they improve? How each routine can be improved. That means you have to instigate the professionals also. Then developing processes that encourage organizational innovation. Organizational innovation, how you can make yourself relevant to your parent body. Organizational innovation. How can you increase your role in the services rendered by your parent body? And then reaching out to and engaging library users and non-users. This is very important. This is one neglected area in libraries. I will just give you an example. As soon as you leave the college, after your degree or your post-graduation, you are not welcome in the college. You are not welcome in the college. Even in the library, if you go there, the librarian might have changed, or even if it is the same old librarian, she or he may not be able to help you anything, because you can't make use of the services. Out of the personal relationship, the person may allow you to make use of. Otherwise, there is no way you can retain the relationship with the old timers. That is the non-users. They have turned out to be non-users, but you have to convert them to users. To that extent, you know, I used to envy the farsightedness of Professor Isaac. He allowed graduate membership here. No university library was having that provision, allowing graduate membership. Once you have become a graduate, of course, you will be given membership, provided you prove your mettle. I mean, provided you are eligible for that. Okay, that's a novel step. You know, this was introduced in 1960s. I have inquired wherever I have got a chance to visit university libraries nowhere. You know, there is no graduate. After all, we are for our community. That is for the university community. That is the educational community, and they are no more with us. But here, he was farsighted enough to introduce that facility. That is non-users. How to make use of their services, or how to give services to them. Then creative library instruction. Library instruction, of course, you know, it has changed. Nowadays, everything comes under the purview of information literacy. That is the new term. Earlier, it started with the library instruction or bibliographic instruction, etc. It has undergone several changes. This is not the time to elaborate all those things. And I have given within quotation patron programming. As students, you just try to understand what is meant by patron programming. I am not going to explain what is meant by patron programming. I hope you are familiar with the word crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing. Okay, this is something like that. That is from the library parlance, that is known as patron programming. You are programming your users and the future users so that they become the friends of your library. That is what is meant by patron programming. And finding new ways to make library collections or library facilities more useful to users. The existing collection, you can expand the utility of the collection, but you have to apply innovative ways. And she has given, I've taken out a few of them given by this girl, this lady. And now, the areas which I am going to deal with today are, that is areas of innovative practices or best practices are, one, data preservation. You are familiar with most of these things now. And second, digital collections and open access. And then research data management. That's an upcoming area as far as academic libraries are concerned and the special libraries are concerned. That innovation in library spaces. This is taking place all over the world. And digital collections and open access. Okay, digital collections, sorry, it is a repetition. Sorry, when I typed it, it became a repetition. Then innovations using state-of-the-art technology. I need not elaborate. Most of you might have heard about at least the introduction of new technology, application of artificial intelligence in information services. And finally, these are the things which I am going to examine in a little bit detail, but I have listed many of the areas under the heading Other. Just like Ranganathan has used Other. You know, when everything cannot be listed, he used this device. So, and then digital preservation. I need not elaborate. Everybody knows what is meant by digital preservation. The main purpose is preservation of cultural heritage in digital form. Why I have stressed is that whenever we say digitization, we think of digitizing old documents or rare documents, sometimes new documents also, which are heavily used. We don't think beyond that. But digitization doesn't end there. And ways in which libraries can play a critical role in preserving digital heritage are, I have just listed them down. What are the areas where libraries can concentrate? One, curating. And I don't know how far you are familiar with the curation. Curator. Museums were having curator. What is the role played by curators? And if Dr. Homer is not there, because they are the State Central Library in Goa. The chief librarian is designated as curator. Curator. I found it very strange. But still, that designation was given by the Portuguese, because Goa was a Portuguese colony and therefore it was designated as curator. But curation has got a different meaning. Information curation is a course in some of the library schools of America. Information curation. And there is so much demand for persons who come out after taking up this course, information curation. What is meant by information curation? That is selecting the best and the most appropriate item to be digitized. Okay, that is one aspect. Maintaining it, making them more useful, all these things. Say for example, giving appropriate metadata, that also comes within the purview of that. Preserving digital collections, developing and implementing digital preservation strategies. You have to work out, you have to improve upon the digital preservation strategies. Okay, say for example, once you digitize things, what will happen? It will become redundant after some time. Say for example, you know, hundreds of my talks are available in the 3.5 inch floppy. 3.5 inch floppy. Okay, and then came the CDs. Now CD drives are also not there in computers. Only the pen drives are there. That is technology obsolescence. How to tackle that? Say for example, those of you who have developed digital libraries will encounter this problem. Transference of data in order to keep it up to date. Okay, they have developed, that is digital preservation strategies, collaborating with other institutions. Why I have stressed the term collaboration all the time is that, you know, Westerners at least, or the developed countries are more keen on collaborating with the different agencies. Libraries cannot function on their own without entering into some liaison with neighboring institutions of neighboring interests. And advocating for digital preservation policies. Advocating. This is one thing which is totally forgotten in our country. Advocating the government. Making the government understandable. Okay, so whenever a new thing is there, say for example, why I have taken this idea is that, yesterday the librarians in America are advocating Trump. Okay, just to reinstate the library and the museum department and continue the functioning, continue the finance too, because that was a suggestion by, who is the other man? Is that the millionaire? Musk. Yeah, Elon Musk. That was his suggestion. Oh, what is the use of this? Why should museums and libraries function? So, okay, he issued an order. That is available in the net. And then, private initiative. As far as I just want to bring to your attention, there are private initiatives also. People are coming up, people who have got money are coming up with digitizing things, especially cultural artifacts. You can just log on to Servants of Knowledge that is located in Bangalore. It's a non-profit making body. Some people have put their heads together. They are digitizing everything, whatever comes on their way. If they find that the material is worthy of preservation, they will do it. Okay, so just if you have got time, you just search under Servants of Knowledge. Okay, then digital collections and open access. Open access is a pet term as far as librarians are concerned, and librarians all over the world have played a key role in propagating the open access. You might have heard about the open access initiatives that took place during the beginning of the 21st century, Budapest Initiative and other things. And in all these aspects, librarians played a major role. And nowadays, no library can be called as a conventional library. Even the village libraries that we come across very often in Kerala, they cannot be called as, libraries in the true sense of the term, because they have got some materials, some at least certain digital artifacts. Okay, some CDs, or some photographs, or some audios, or some what you call as videos, etc. So all the libraries have turned out to be digital hybrid libraries. And hybrid library, I am not going into. I am just giving you some idea about some of the digital libraries functioning at the global level. Okay, say for example, one is, you are quite familiar with Internet Archive, okay, where millions of documents, millions of books, movies, software, music, websites are available. Okay, it is absolutely free. And then, Digital Public Library of America. I used to put a question to the audience. Do you know how old is American culture? How old is American culture? Hardly 500 years. How old is Indian culture? 5,000. 5,000. But still, this 500 years old culture dominates the internet with 80% of the content. That shows their preservation aspect. And this is one example. Digital Public Library of America, that is located in Boston, Massachusetts, USA. And DPLA aggregates digital collections from libraries, museums, archives across the US. They will make a survey and take those things, digitize them, and make it available through their site. And then the British counterpart is known as Europeana, that is located at The Hague, the Netherlands. And this also. And they collect materials from galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. Why I am repeating this is that there some sort of collaboration is there between, collectively they are known as GLAM. It is represented by the abbreviation or acronym GLAM. That is galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. They have many things in common. Okay, so as far as digitization is concerned, or building up of digital collection is concerned, these items or these institutions can put their heads together. Then coming to India, National Digital Library, NDLI, I hope most of you are familiar with the services. More than 5 crores or 5.5 crores Okay, 55 million items are available. Items means not full text. They provide link to majority of the items. Then of course, open access. Coming to open access again, digital preservation I have just, digital collection I have just talked, and I'm coming to open access. DOAJ, I need not tell you, that is one of the best initiatives as far as digital journals are concerned. And the importance lies in the fact that that is a curated list. Curated, I have already mentioned what is meant by curation. Selected based on certain criteria. All and sundry journals are not included. Only a curated list is covered there. And their number has increased more than 20,000 journals are covered. Started way back in 2003 with roughly 300 journals. The number has risen to more than 20,000. You can see the fast growth of open access journals. Then directory of open access books, that is the book equivalent of DOAJ, Open Access Scholarly Publishing Association. There is an association in order to maintain quality as far as open access journals and books are concerned. There is a worldwide association. Then Declaration of Research, DORA. Perhaps you might have heard about DORA. If students are not familiar, please try to understand what is the role played by DORA. And of course, it has got a different role also, because we are after the impact factor of journals, H-index and other things. But they are trying to find out alternative methods which are relevant in the context of open access. They are relevant in the context of open access also, but alternative methodologies are being developed by DORA. And SF DORA. SF stands for San Francisco, because the declaration, the first declaration was made in San Francisco. You can just search the internet. Then institutional repositories, I need not tell you. Nowadays, most of the libraries are creating, our institutions are creating institutional repositories on their own. Then RDM, research data management, is an upcoming area where librarians can play a major role. And here it is the process of handling research data throughout the life cycle. Throughout the life cycle, if you examine the data, research data, you can see that it undergoes a life cycle from the generation to its loss of validity. Okay, in all these things, in all these aspects, all these stages, librarian can play a major role. This can be explained in half an hour, but I am not attempting that. And here, research data management has to be done according to the FAIR principles. What is FAIR? It is just an acronym. Acronym, I hope you know the difference between abbreviation and acronym. Acronym, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Okay, you have to follow these principles in making research data available. And I have just listed out what are all the best practices that you can follow in libraries as far as research data management is concerned. So providing guidance and resource for long-term data storage and preservation. You have to educate. You have to develop the skills of the users. And assisting with the creating and managing metadata creation. Okay, you have to make use of you have to educate the users how to create metadata. But metadata, I should say, sadly say, that this is one area where librarians have missed the bus. Missing the bus, you know what is the meaning. Okay, now the computer science people are concerned with the metadata and they have taken it up and they think that it is part of their domain, not librarians' domain. Okay, providing services for digital curation. Again, I am making use of the term. Curation includes selection, preservation, maintenance and archiving of research data, helping researchers understand and implement best practices for citing and attributing research data. We are more bogged down with how to cite the journal articles, books, conference articles, etc. But there are umpteen number of other sources of data. How to give citations to them? Many people don't know. The users may not be knowing. The librarians have to educate them how to cite other umpteen number of sources which are available, which are useful for research. And offering training, and this is the most important. That is why I have given it in red color. Offering training to the users using workshops or on RDM tools, RDM techniques, and best practices. For example, you can just log on to the websites of University Libraries of California, Oxford University, Harvard University, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Cornell University, and it is written as Vijay, and it is pronounced as Vrijay University, again in Amsterdam. And then Science Europe. I have just mentioned about Europeana. This is another attempt for the European countries as a whole. Okay, so many other examples are there. These are some of the best practices developed by other countries. I have to take inspiration from them. And then innovation in library spaces. Innovation, this is one area where libraries have innovated so much. Okay, and this was first designated as information commons. Information commons. Why? They have used the term information commons. Because in simpler terms, commons refers to the land or common grounds that villagers used to share for grazing purposes. You know, when the community had its own animals, common grounds were there. Now they are shrinking. The common grounds, grazing grounds are shrinking, as we all know. That is why, the usage of commons started. And as I have given, the last line, thanks to Sheffield University. Sheffield University was a pioneer in that. That is transforming the areas, transforming the, physical spaces into usable spaces. Usable spaces means, which are demanded by the users. And that is why they are, you can just log on to the website of Sheffield University Library. There you can see discourse on information commons. The concept of information commons refers to the shared knowledge base, but it also has got, in the library context, it has got a relevance in the physical use of physical space, usually in an academic library. Okay, so there are so many other associated terms. You can just look under library commons. Just look under, academic commons. If you take your University of Columbia Library website, you can say they make use of academic commons. It was found to be very interesting to me. That is one of the best practices followed by them. The library will they will display not only the books which are purchased, they will display the creations of the users. Whether they are students or teachers, faculty members or research scholars. Say for example, if you have authored a short story or a poem, or you have drawn a picture, or you have drawn a portrait, they will give a chance to display them in the particular hall of the university library. Okay, all those entries will be invited and that will be displayed. Sometimes competitions will be held on these things. And what is the end result? All the users have become friends of the library. Okay, they have become regular users of the library. Every day they will come, oh, what is their new? Whether any new poem has appeared, or whether a portrait has appeared, or a figure or a photograph has appeared. Okay, so some competitions will also be, that they named it as academic commons. Okay, then it also refers to the physical space, okay, and that is what is meant by, what are all the changes in the physical space? The changes are applied to make them flexible and adaptable spaces. How can libraries make their spaces flexible? Because many of the libraries in the developed countries are switching over to digital collections. What is the end result? The books will be removed. Removed means they may be removed, they will not sell them out. That will be some cellar like thing where they will be something like closed reference section of the University of Kerala. Okay, they will be moved to the cellar. And sometimes once it is digitized, some useless books will be thrown off. Okay, so the space saved thus will be converted into flexible and adaptable spaces. Examples are modular furniture. Of course, I need to tell you what is meant by modular furniture. Then mobile walls. You might have seen in some of the private colleges, mobile walls. You know, it will be, there will be 2 or 3 walls that will be used as classrooms. But when there is a function, what they will do? They will just remove the walls to the sides. Walls means not concrete walls, but something like the gate. Many of the houses now have, which can be thrust into the wall or the what you call as this thing. Okay, similarly, these are the movable or foldable walls, multi-purpose rooms, okay, rooms which can be used for different purposes. Then collaborative learning environment. What is collaborative learning environment? I am going to stress this afterwards. Spaces designed to facilitate group work, where people can come together as a group. Nowadays, you know, I very well remember in the university, this university library, the staff members used to complain. They will bring, if a girl and boy was found to be talking, both of them will be brought to the chief librarian. Sir, these people are making a lot of noise. That was the, but nowadays, you know, people are not so bothered. That's what I presume. But still, libraries are encouraging group work. People are allowed to come in with groups so that they can discuss. They can discuss on projects. Okay, then they want to have a debate. Halls will be allotted to them. And facilitate group work, interaction, knowledge sharing, etc. Examples, study rooms, meeting rooms, co-working spaces, etc. Where people can, I'm just showing you some of the photographs of spaces designed by some of the libraries. Okay, this is one thing which we have to think of. Compact shelving, we know it. Even in the 20th century, we used to think of compact shelving, but nowadays nobody thinks of it. How to make effective use of compact shelving. You know, in Kerala University Library, the collection is divided into two. Okay, the active collection and the passive collection. For passive collection, okay, you can make use of, because these contain things which are seldom used. Okay, why can't you make use of compact shelving so that you can have so much of space, vacant space? This is deep, quiet rooms. If somebody wants to have solitude, wants to concentrate for his studies, examination or something like that, you can reserve or you can come. If vacancies are there, you can enter there. And these are some of the photographs with which I am familiar. That's why. And then collaboration zone. This is just the opposite. People come in a group, 5 people, they want to discuss on a project. Now this is the era of startups. Every day we come up news about startups and other things. How can startup come? Can they come up in vacuum? No. People have to put their heads together. For that they want to have facilities. Okay. In Trivandrum also such common facilities are coming up. Okay, where air-conditioned rooms will be provided, that will be given on rent. Because there are so many IAS coaching institutes are there, and when the coaching is over, they will gather here, where they can discuss common things which are of interest to them. Okay, that is on private enterprises. Collaboration zone means where people can rent this. They can reserve the seats here. And then library workshops, announcements. Regularly, we think of workshops once in a blue moon. Am I right? Libraries organize workshop once in a year or twice in a year, something like that. But this is a regular feature. This is how they impart information literacy instruction. And this is long list. Every week, this will be changing. This display board will be changing. Research skill workshops series. I told you about research data management workshops and other things. They are ongoing things, and that will be displayed. And that will be spread to the users by means of their, social communication, social media. Okay, idea exchange facility. Idea exchange, this is for common chatting. Okay, they have given a glorious term, idea exchange facility. These are all parts of, and this is student launch. This is from Kerala. One of the libraries in Kerala has embarked on this idea. They have drawn inspiration from the information commons, and they have earmarked a separate space. Can anybody say which library? No, this is Cochin University of Science and Technology Library, CRISAT Library. They have earmarked an area which is open up to 11 o'clock. The library closes at 8 o'clock, but this will be open up to 11 o'clock. People can bring their own materials, the laptop or whatever materials they have, books, printed books or whatever you have, personal belongings can be brought in. You have sit here up to 11 o'clock, then that will be closed. And this is another experiment by the same library, the garden library. Okay, garden library where people are allowed to take the books also to read and other things, but proved to be a failure. Why it proved to be a failure? Because there is no proper protection. People can go with books. I mean, ഒരു ചെറിയ മതിലേ ഉള്ളൂ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക്. പുസ്തകം അപ്പുറത്തെടുത്തറിയാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ they can jump over the wall. Okay, so they have closed it down. So, but there is tremendous scope for a garden library here. Okay, yes. അത് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിലും സം മെക്കാനിസം ഷുഡ് ബി ദെയർ. അവിടെ കാണിച്ചിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ട് തിരിച്ച്, ബിക്കോസ് ദേ ക്യാൻ വെരി വെൽ ട്രാക്ക് ഇറ്റ് ഔട്ട്. അത് അവിടെ ഇട്ടിട്ട് പോയാൽ പോലും ഇപ്പം ഒരു മഴ വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ ഓക്കെ യു ക്യാൻ ഫോളോ ഇറ്റ്. പണ്ട് ഇതൊന്നും അല്ല. ഈവൻ ഐ ഓൾസോ സഫേർഡ്. അപ്പുറത്തെ സെക്ഷനിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു പുസ്തകം ഇവിടെ വെച്ച് ഡിസ്പ്ലേ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. ന്യൂ ബുക്സ് ഡിസ്പ്ലേ വാസ് ദെയർ ഇൻ ദി ഫ്രണ്ട്. ഐ യൂസ് ടു ടേക്ക് ഔട്ട് ബുക്സ് ടു ദി ഇൻസൈഡ് ആൻഡ് റീഡ് ഇറ്റ് ദെയർ, ആൻഡ് ദെൻ സംബഡി വിൽ കം. യു ഹാവ് ടു പുട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ബാക്ക്. Okay, whatever it may be, there is a golden opportunity for this. This can be turned out, but such mechanism should be developed, because there is no way it can be thrown out. Okay, checking point is there in the front. Okay, but this is closed down now, and this is another experiment made in another university library in Kerala. I just want to bring it to your attention that things are slowly coming up in our university libraries also. This is part of Calicut University Library, which is open for 24 hours. Okay, people can come at any time. They can profusely make use of that. They can come with all their gadgets. Perhaps people may sleep also there, I don't know. 24 hours. Okay, there is no restriction as such. It looks very nice. Okay, now maker spaces. I hope most of you are aware of what is meant by maker spaces. These are otherwise known as the Fab Labs. You can just, if you are not familiar, you just check what is maker space, what are their utility. And while I was visiting some of the libraries in Singapore, I've seen every public library is fitted with a maker space, and there is so much of rush because children, elders, they will be thronging there. Say for example 3D printers, how things are printed out. Even your human organs can be printed out, because I saw the demonstration of a printing of an ear, of a human ear. Okay, so people are very much interested in that maker spaces. Thereby they become friends of the libraries by making use of this. Okay, this is a crude maker space, and if you want to have another picture of a sophisticated maker space, okay, the last one, the pink colored one, is the 3D printer, where anything you give the model, program it, and give the substances with which you want to make it, that will make models. It will take some time, but still, even 3D printing, 3D rockets. Okay, now ISRO has launched a 3D rocket also. Okay, now digital media and the curation centers. So with the space save, digital studios were started by libraries, where digital photography or video production, digitization facility, book publication services. Students are advised how to publish a book. Suppose you have a work with you, they will help you. They will professionally equip you how to produce on your own, because he is a man who is concerned with self-publishing. And you can make use of his services also, how to inculcate the spirit of self-publishing also. Okay, so libraries encourage. Say for example, preparing a dissertation, we have to depend upon outsiders for preparing dissertations. Now things are changing, but still they will help you to produce these things, images, etc. And thus libraries are turned into incubator centers. All the potentialities in you can be increased, developed with the use of university libraries. And then green libraries, you are all familiar with the green libraries. You might have heard a lot about green libraries. Green libraries are, you have to say, I have just given it in 3 things: reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are the cardinal principles. If you are not familiar, try to live out. There are so many examples in India also, but they are not Pakka green libraries. I am going to show you some of the examples of a green library which I have visited, and I happened to stay there for a week. This is National Library of Singapore. Green in all respects. Okay, there is a open space with full of trees and other things, and natural light. And when there is darkness means when there is the sunshine is not there, these light will automatically brighten. And when there is bright sunlight, this will gradually dim. Thereby they can save electricity. In the toilet, while I entered the toilet, it was pitch dark. It was pitch dark. I was wondering, such a developed country like Singapore is not having light inside the washroom. I was thinking about the washrooms here. Sometimes lights won't be working. But the moment I put my foot there, lights were brightened. That is one of the mechanisms by means of saving electricity. And this is natural light. Maximum use of natural light. Even though lights you can see at the top, they will not be blooming full. If there is plenty of natural light, only dim light will be there. When the natural light dims, this will become automatically bright in themselves. And Victoria State Library, that is another library where I could visit. This was started as back as 1956, and there is a dome in that, and dome was covered by copper plates. It was covered by copper plates, but then it started leaking because of the constant torrential rain. Started leaking, and then they have changed it to glass. With the result that there is no need for light. The thing is, during the daytime, the entire brightness is there. This is what I am saying is that this is an innovation. This is an innovation they started with, and it has been found to be a tremendous success. Then RFID, I need not tell you because all of you might have studied or you might have handled it. Dr. Suresh is there, who was instrumental in installing RFID here. And IoT, I think again it needs no explanation to you. IoT can be made use of. Say for example, that gives you the facility to link several equipment at the same time. You can monitor them. Okay, because the computer is there to control all the gadgets you have. So that is the facility. And then virtual and augmented reality. Okay, this also has got tremendous use. Say, for example, immersive storytelling and historic explanation. Say, for example, there are separately prepared books. If you start reading in that by the Google-like thing, you will be actually visiting this place. Say, for example, if it is a book about Hampi, perhaps you might have heard about in Karnataka. Then, the history, the monuments will appear just before you, just like a 3D image. It will appear before you. So these are all some of the options, and this is one of the examples of a 3D, augmented. Say for example, standing at the one end of the staff room, you can identify the book you want. Say for example, if the book belongs to science, you can just see, then you can point out, and that will lead you to the location where that book is located. Okay, you need not go and go by the column number, whether it is separated by colon or semicolon or hyphen or something like that. Okay, that will immediately locate the book to you. And that is another use is accessibility and inclusivity. Say for example, people with low vision, they can easily identify books with augmented reality. And then community engagement and collaboration, book clubs, workshops, etc. can be held easily. And then application of artificial intelligence. And this is an upcoming area where experiments are being done. But these experiments were taking place for the last 20 years. These are the areas. Say for example, in libraries, artificial intelligence can be used for analysis of the reading habits of users. Analysis of the reading habits of the users. So for example, by counting on or by going through the books he has made use of, it will tell you these are his areas. Okay, so the potential areas you can buy collections based on the areas of the users. You need not ask them what is your area of interest. No. Automatically the statistics will be given to you. These are the most sought after areas in the library that helps in collection building. Then recommendation of books. Okay, say for example that will help you. by using AI, you can just ask, these are my areas of interest. Will you please recommend a book for me, which was published in 2024. That will help you. And then image recognition. Image recognition. Say, for example, if that particular software is library is fitted with that software, DRDO library has got such a facility. Say, for example, a scientist comes with a photograph of a weapon that was used in the World War I or World War II, but he doesn't know what that is weapon. How is it made? Okay. Then by scanning it, that AI will tell you, this is the weapon developed by so and so, and this is the name of the weapon, and these are the facilities given by the weapon, etc. That is image recognition, summarizing text, abstracting, preparing abstracts, service for visually challenged people. And I have given an example also, said Seeing AI. That is the name of the app by Microsoft. Seeing AI app that helps you, that helps the blind people. This app will tell you wherever, if they carry that app with them, the entire surroundings will be described to you. Okay, say for example, somebody is coming up against you, or there is somebody standing beside you, or something like that. So that is service for visually challenged people, manpower training and skill development. For that purpose also, artificial intelligence can be used for training manpower. This will tell you. This is widely used in information literacy programs. And then use of robots and conversational AI, including chatbots. Conversational AI, that helps. Chatbots, I hope all of you are familiar with. Okay, people will help you. Chatbot, are you familiar? Chatbot, okay. That is an example of conversational AI. And robots are also heavily used. I am coming with some of the photographs of some of the robots used in libraries. This is a photo from University of Pretoria Libraries. It makes use of a robot named Libby. And what is purpose? Greeting visitors. Whoever comes to the library, hello, good morning, how are you? Where do you want to go? All this, you can chat with that, and that will be, you will be directed to that. This is just a photograph I have taken from the net. And this is a robot to help kids with autism. Kids with autism. Okay, perhaps you might have come to know that autistic people, they will ask the questions repeatedly, and you will lose your patience because they will forget it immediately. So this will not be fatigued. If the same question is repeated to it 100 times, it will go on telling it. So it is specially designed for helping people with autism. This was installed first, I think it was in 2006 or something like that. They started that as back as 2006. The Santa Ana Public Library, California. They installed it, and that is heavily used. And then this I happen to, this is again from Singapore National Library, where shelf reading robot, that will become functional at night. When the library remains closed, this will start working, check every nook and corner of the book and identify the misplaced books, but it will not rectify it. That will only indicate that this is misplaced. The next day, the people have to replace it. But in future, they will do it. And one of the best practices that is followed in one of the public libraries there was that the library opens at 11 o'clock. It is not the central library. It is one of the branch libraries. It opens at 11 o'clock, and at 11 o'clock, all the staff members, if there are 15 staff members, they will stand in 2 rows. Then immediately, the doors will open automatically. People will be waiting impatiently outside. We will start coming up from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or something like that. Then they will, everybody, something like air hostess greets you as soon as you enter the airplane. All of them will be bowing. Okay, that's one of the best practices. സാറ് പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിനൊക്കെ എന്താടാ നിനക്കെന്നെ അറിയാമോ എന്നായിരിക്കും തിരിച്ച് ചോദിക്കുന്നത് ചിലരെങ്കിലും. But still, I found it to be very interesting because all the staff members will be ready by 11 o'clock in order to greet the visitors. Okay, this will find out this thing, and this was operational from 2009 or something like that. Okay, and this is how it functions. Then mobile bookshop. Mobile bookshop, book drop, not bookshop. It is book drop facility, just like the book that will be located inside. RFID facility is there, book drop facility is there. You can deposit the books inside that, and then immediately that will be taken. Once 150 books are deposited there, it will stop, or some beep beep sound will come, and that will go on wheels to the stack room. Okay, then some staff member will take out the tray, and again that will come back to the, and there are actually 2 doors. Okay, 2 drops are there. So one person need not wait too much till it comes back. Okay, book drop facility and NLB app. Okay, this is another app developed by the National Library Board of Singapore. It is super easy to search for the location of a library book. By making use of that app, it is very easy, super easy, I should say, to locate a book. You just type in that, then immediately it will tell it is shelf number such and such. Okay, then generative AI. Hope all of you are familiar with generative AI. Okay, at least ChatGPT you are all familiar with. Generative AI, we are familiar with only text generation AI. ChatGPT is a text generation. Of course, it helps in image generation also, but there are specialized softwares for text image generation. DALL-E, Midjourney, Leonardo.ai, then music generation, Music M, Music Gen, video generation, Adobe Firefly, Canva, then voice generation, Replica Studio, so many other things. Why I have listed down is that perhaps you might have heard about that software, but then what is the role of the library? I want to just emphasize that. That is why I have just taken this. That is, sorry. Okay, use of AI for user empowerment. Only thing is that you have to organize workshop in order to equip the users in the use of these AI tools. Okay, how to make use of ChatGPT, how to make use of image generation, DALL-E, for example, or music generation. You can organize workshop. That is what I have given in the last line. Many libraries reoriented the organization to suit the time. But the changes in the information, what are the areas wherein you can give instruction? Say, for example, AI-assisted information literacy programs and training on AI tools for the content creation, which I have already mentioned, and then ethical consideration. You have to empower the users how to make use of AI ethically. That is a very big issue. How to make use of it ethically. Ethical use of AI, that's one of the biggest challenges. And Western countries have developed so many portfolios in order to educate the users how to make use of AI ethically. But nowadays we are not, here we are not bothered about, okay, let people make use of it, then we will talk about ethical use. Okay, and then in accordance with the changes, the organizational structure also is being changed. A typical example is shift. I'm taking the example of Chicago University Library, and they have reorganized their entire services and collection based on collection services, user services, digital services, collection in the humanities and social science. Okay, reorganized. We are all, I have told all my students that libraries are usually organized according to the functional pattern of organization. Do you remember? Those of you, functional pattern of organization. That is the organization of the library into different sections like acquisition section, technical section, maintenance section, and what are all the routines to be followed, etc. But now that is undergoing a tremendous change, a reorientation of the collection and the services, and accordingly the designation of the people who are put in charge of the library, that also undergoes a change. And taking out, anybody can check up with this, what is the organizational pattern undertaken by the Chicago University Library. And I'm concluding with the third place concept. Third place, perhaps you may wonder what is third place. It is nothing new. It is a term coined by a sociologist called Ray Oldenburg. Ray Oldenburg. It refers to social spaces outside a home. That is the first place. Home is the first place. And what is the second place? Place of work. That is the second place. And where people can relax. And this is the third place, is a place where people can relax, socialize, and build community. What I want to tell you is that libraries have to turn themselves into a third place where people can relax. And key characteristics of the third place are the neutral ground. You need not belong to any political party or any other group or something like that. Everybody is welcome. Third places are designed to be neutral spaces, free from the pressures of home or work. And then regular voluntary gathering. Anybody can come in, gather together, discuss things, etc. Then social interaction is possible there. Then public relaxation. You can relax with a cup of coffee or something like that. Okay, libraries have to assume the role of a third place. That is how libraries all over the world are changing themselves. Rather than being rigorous on, stressing on acquiring knowledge, information, etc. It should turn themselves into a third place in the life of people. Okay, with these, I'm just concluding. I know that I was going a little bit fast, but still, we have to keep up with the time, and that is why. Thank you very much.